What's the next fear? That stems from this fear of authority, not wanting to be told, not wanting to be that fitting into it by going along with it. But it stems from some of the past experiences. Maybe somebody decided things for you and it didn't work in your favor. Somebody wanted to control you and that didn't work in your favor. So your mind had to learn to think on its own to put you where you are. But after a point, that lost its purpose. But you don't recognize that or you don't realize that. Now, completions. So again, one more time here, who here said that completions, you take responsibilities, but you're not completing things. You have many started projects, but unfinished, right? Completion. So the completions is more, again, people who are not in completions, they take pride in ideating, in being a visionary, in wanting things, in dreaming big, in being optimistic and positive, in having this harmonious world. That's where the mind stays and it takes its pride. Have you ever experienced that? That's where the big picture thinking, the harmonious world. Thank you, Chloe. So from there, the completion, because again, going to the career side of things in your personality test, they assess you whether you're good in finishing or not finishing, but they never address this fact, the reason why you're not able to finish things, right? And that will also manifest in your personal life. You have many things that you start that you want to do and you will never finish them. And then when it comes to completion, you have 10,000 new things coming up or you will fall sick. Anyone here, that format? You play that pattern in your life, right? And how do you see that pattern in your life? Not only through your work, when you're ready to go out somewhere and you don't like, you will have headaches, nauseous, and you won't feel good. When you have to really finish painting that furniture or doing that thing in the backyard, you're not completing it. You're starting something else and something urgent opens up and your life becomes busy. Is this sounding normal to you? Right. So that's the fear of responsibility. So this fear of responsibility in your workplaces, it manifests. And that is where, while you are thinking, but again here, so coming back, I'm shuffling between these two concepts. So now you're doing things, you're doing many things and you're busy. Are you not? Right? Are you seeing this? So how often, anytime anyone experienced this, please let me know. Have you ever felt that I'm doing as much as possible? I don't know how to get all these things to a completion. Have you ever thought that in your life? Have you ever felt that way? Right. So, but you're not completing it. So the reason, one of the reasons that you stagnate in the career, in your careers, whether it's jobs or businesses or any other areas that you're working in, is because your mind is not trained to start, maintain, and finish it. Are you with me here? Did you see this? So I want you to just step back and think about your life and see what are those incomplete things, the decisions that you're postponing, that you're not taking, the things that you want to complete, but you're not finishing it, the things that you want to do, and you know you're so close to completion and suddenly things happen and everything falls apart for you. Just reflect on it. And see if you can now take the decision, now that you know it is stemming from some form of fear of responsibility. Can you now take the decision to complete or delete? Not to keep it, to either complete it or to chuck it. Can you take the decision? And if you took the decision, show me a hand. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Now here, coming back to the fear of responsibility, the fear of responsibility also has the duality of it, the dual aspects of it. That is, if you have one responsibility, you're too attached to it and you don't want to let it go because you're too familiar with it. Is anyone there here? that you have one responsibility and you will do it to the end. And anything else, any new thing that is coming up, you don't want to take it up. Have you ever experienced that? Anyone over here? It does not mean you're not responsible. The one responsibility you already have, maybe your children, maybe your work, maybe your job, maybe your current role where you are. You're absolutely into it because you know it, right? But if you have to take another responsibility, you will take a lot of time to take a decision to get started. Anyone? Show me a hand here. That's also the polarity of the fear of responsibility. So as much as you want to be responsible, once you're comfortable with something, you keep doing it. And while you hate it, anyone here who are doing things but you don't like them? Anyone here who is stuck in that place? You do things, the same things, but you don't like them, right? Thank you. So that is also the polarity, the duality aspect of this fear of responsibility. So that can stem from fear of authority. Fear of authority can be in two ways. One is, again, one is where you tend to be controlling and dominating because that worked for you. Anyone who chose that way of life? Thank you. The other one is where the fear of authority, that is too much, too dominating. So you're too kind and too compassionate and too supportive. The role you play is a supportive role, right? Anyone here who thinks you're a good supportive person? Thank you. So can you now see there is a duality to the fear of authority? So you can become too supportive or you can be too controlling and dominating and people cannot follow you from the fear of authority. From fear of responsibility, one, because somebody didn't take responsibility, you think you have to be responsible. Anyone over here? Anyone associates with that? Right? Somebody didn't take responsibility, so you have to. So can you now step back once today, right now, step back, and can you take the decision that that does not have to rule you? It's almost like the child who goes to the extremes of doing things just because somebody said not to. So can you now release yourself from it? Somebody didn't take responsibility. So you want to prove throughout your life that you're taking responsibility. Can you release that? And can you release the need to prove to that person who didn't take responsibility? Can you release that? And can you release yourself from it? And if you could do that, just show me a hand. So if one person could see that, the purpose is so done. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. That's the fear of responsibility. So fear of authority, fear of responsibility. Now, this fear of responsibility, fear of authority, we have seen the either sides. The point where you tend to be authoritative or you choose to be supportive. And that's what you're playing in your workplaces. You're either very authoritative and you want to climb up, or you're too supportive and you don't get those promotions or you don't grow as much as you want to grow because you believe in being supportive. Now, what are the pitfalls of this supportive personality and the dominating personality? Anyone here? I did have one client who said, I cannot leave my role. I cannot leave this job because my team is like my family. Anyone have you experienced that? That the team or people around you becomes your family and you're afraid of going up or climbing up because you don't want to be a tall poppy. Anyone experience that? Yeah, thank you. So that can manifest in that form too, in your workplaces, careers, anywhere that you're looking at. Now, we talked about fear of authority and the fear of responsibility. So you either take a lot of responsibility everywhere, or you feel a lot of responsibility everywhere. So who feels the responsibility? Anywhere you go, anything you do, you feel responsible. Anyone here? I am responsible for people to be sad. I am responsible for the world to be unfair. Anyone here who feels the responsibility? Now, I'm very specific in this word I'm using. Some people feel the responsibility. Some people take the responsibility. Who are you? You feel the responsibility. Show of hands. You take the responsibility. Show of hands. Thank you. So The feeling responsibility and taking responsibility are two different things again. However, the mind is confused between feeling responsibility and taking responsibility. Feeling responsibility keeps you stuck. Like you feel responsible for everything, so you don't do anything. Is anyone here? You feel so responsible that you don't do anything. You feel it. Thank you. Now, you take responsibility and you don't do anything for yourself. You're constantly taking responsibilities. Anyone over here? Thank you. So feeling the responsibility is different from taking the responsibility. And that is also the duality or the polarity of the fear of responsibility. Could you all see that? Are you, just show me a hand here. Are you able to follow me here in these patterns? Thank you. Right. So it is important for you to now step away from being a leader or being a supportive person, not because of someone or something that happened in the past, but to be able to see if that is required, you will be that, if you convert into the so-called spiritual philosophical terms, is living in the present. So right now, what is required? If you have to lead, you lead. If you have to follow, you follow. If you have to support, you will support. Can you take the decision now? All of us collectively, if can we take this decision? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Right. Now, with the fear of responsibility, now we saw that there are people who feel responsible, but they don't do anything because they cannot do anything. And there are people who will take the responsibility because, again, here, the underlying thing about this, who here thinks, if somebody wants it, I will do it, but not for me. Anyone here? Thank you. Thank you. That's also a very common pattern of the mind. If someone wants it, I can do it. But if I want it, I won't be doing it. Fear of responsibility again.